What I've been asked to do today is kind of key up some of my key learnings that I got from Leadership Maine. But I want to give background first. So, because as a member of the TAU class, I've got a great deal of appreciation for all you've been through this year. I recall the bus trips and the rope courses, and being able to be present at some of these presentations that you had on a monthly basis from some of the best advocates for Maine's economy that exist. So I think how quickly the year went by when I was in the Leadership Maine program, and that's got to be the result of just a very well coordinated model that gets executed every year by the staff. And I think that you add a group of lifelong learners, ever-evolving leaders, and you put them in a program like this where you can present them, the state of Maine and its economy, and it is this wonderful formula for making sure that the future of the state is in good hands. But when I first got to the orientation, I'll take you all back there. I think, like many of you, was not skipping up the road to that orientation. In fact, I had a lot of questions. Questions like, what the heck am I doing here? How do I have time to go do this program that takes me away from all these important things that I have to do back in the office? What am I going to get out of this? I didn't really know. Maybe some of you did. I'm guessing maybe not everybody. Yeah, I remember walking up to the orientation, and I was definitely at a crossroads. And I was really concerned about, not just myself and what I was going to give, but what are these people going to think of me? And then bit by bit, activity by activity, conversation here, laughter over there, it dawned on me that, hey, there's something here that's important, something that's going to work. I realized I was getting a gift, and it was a gift of time, which we don't get very often these days. It was a gift that was going to let me think about myself, my role as a leader, and how I could help support the state of Maine. And I'm hoping that that's a gift all of you received as well. It's becoming more and more rare in today's world to get this time to reflect and figure out the why that drives us, that passion that drives us. We all have it. There's a spark in all of us that can ignite this greater passion. And I believe the Leadership Maine program provides the space, the venue to find this in ourselves. And it surrounds us with all these wonderful people who can support and encourage that for happening. And Leadership Maine provided me with so many things, and I think the greater appreciation that you all get from the diverse economies that exist in the state. There's a realization that there's people out there, like-minded people, who believe that that developing the economy, community, and leadership that can truly make a difference in people's lives. And I think there's also this expectation that comes along with it, that you have an accountability in contributing to Maine's success. And I really look back at the network of friends and professionals also that this opened me up to. There is a connectivity that is provided through Leadership Maine, and you're going to have that with your class, but there's more. There's a greater Leadership Maine community out there as well, and that's something that you will appreciate now. You'll appreciate it even more when you walk away from today's graduation. That was a gift that I'm guessing will continue to give throughout the next multiple decades. But I'm going to turn it around a little bit too, and I'm going to ask, how do you think Leadership Maine has changed you? Right? Because I can't fully know your experience, but I'm guessing when you look at a Main Street, do you see opportunity today versus tired, vacant space? Do you believe that the creative economy is more than just an outlet for some artistic folks, that there could actually be business there? Do you believe that Maine could become a destination for high tech? Do you think we could lead the nation in academic excellence? Do you think we could be the model for accessible healthcare? Do you believe that we could be a leader in sustainable technologies, world-class R&D? I bet for most of you, before you started Leadership Maine, I bet many of you would have said yes to those questions. But I believe today and go forward that you'll still answer yes, but then you'll follow that up with, and this is how we'll do it. I really believe that. That's what you get from this. And I'm going to put in a little pitch for the Maine Development Foundation, because I think so much of the research and the thought leadership that guides our legislators, our business people, our educators, the philanthropic organizations that do so much for the state, so much of what they depend on is produced and it's facilitated through the efforts of the program directors and the staff at Maine Development. Being in Leadership Maine, I think you're able to experience a lot of what the staff strive to do on a daily basis, where they look to build research and support community development and enable education. And note that Leadership Maine, it's a facet of one of the many programs that are under that Maine Development Foundation umbrella. And if you have the curiosity, it's worth going to the annual meeting to get an understanding of what else is happening with the Maine Development Foundation. I think that having folks like yourselves that have been enlightened through Leadership Maine, I think having you understand what happens at Maine Development Foundation will only provide security for the future that we can continue on. So I'm supposed to tell you now about my key learnings, all right? So I've tried to bucket it up in three things, all right? So first one, I think from Leadership Maine, I think you find ways to be part of something bigger. So you look for opportunities outside your specialty. And examples for me was, because I got back from Leadership Maine, it was such a great experience, and we worked so hard on our project, and it's this level of fulfillment and satisfaction of delivering on that. And you get back to your office and you're like, or you get back to the place where you work, and you want that feeling again. And you got to chase after that, because it's so rewarding to go after it. And I was given the opportunity when I got back to chair the United Way campaign for LL Bean. And it gave me that sense again of being part of something greater, being able to deliver back to the community, and we were able to have a very successful campaign. And then I was also able to head up a project on sustainability. LL Bean produces a lot of product, a lot of garments, a lot of materials get used in what we do every year, and there's a potential that 70% of that ends up in landfills. And that never has set well with me and many people at the company. And so I was able to advocate and help lead a project that has now set us on the path to have established goals around recycled materials, around a better quality of material from a chemical standpoint, more oversight on the type of natural materials, natural fibers that we use. And you'll see, and if we do our job well, and we will from a marketing standpoint, you'll see us speak to that stuff in a greater way to provide that awareness and to have more accountability. Those are examples of ways, when you get back from this program, you can use this new energy that you have to continue to make changes that make a difference in this state. Second thing is lean into your network. There's so many folks that think they have to go on this arduous journey alone, and you don't have to. You surround yourself with bright, insightful people. You've been doing it for a year, and lean into them. Put the time in. Invest into that network. It will pay dividends. It is worth the time. You surround yourself with quality folks, and you'll continue to be inspired, and you'll have the opportunity to inspire others. So maintain that effort. And then the third thing, and I've tried to keep these so that they're they apply to everyone. You, through the course of this program, I think have learned to be accountable for your own identity, defining your own identity. Because when you go to Leadership Maine, you get to take off that hat that you wear on your day-to-day, and you get this fresh start with this group of people to be who you want to be the person you want to be, and that is such a gift. So be accountable for your own identity, and know that the place you work or the place you live, it doesn't define that. That's on you, it will free you in how you approach things when you take on that accountability. So now I know you're all going to go back to your respective day-to-day. You're going to go back and you're going to get drawn in. You're going to get that feeling of, these key metrics that we have to hit, or these perennial issues that always seem to come up that drag me down. And it's going to kind of feel like that when you come back from vacation feeling, and you're so recharged, and those people, I'm going to just say those people, I'm not going to point, they're there, and they like to bring you back down to the drudgery. Don't put up with it. Remember how you're feeling when you come through this program, and make sure you really leverage what you got from Leadership Maine, because, and I think you're more prepared now to go back in to that world that you're coming from. And I believe that when you are working, and you're going to appreciate what you're doing to the state of Maine, for the state of Maine, and how you're supporting it. And that's what you have to remember. You have to remember that when you nail that proposal, that when you pass that law, when you provide that service, when you educate a class, that you are contributing beyond just the job, that your contributions are going past the walls, of your organization, and your leadership is supporting healthier communities, stronger economies, and you are helping other people see the way to provide greater security for Maine's future. So I hope Leadership Maine gave each of you something. Maybe it provided a better vision for your career. Maybe you gained the confidence to find your voice and use that voice. Maybe it just changed the optics that you have on Maine's future and what the future can really be. And maybe you just found a peer, or you found a friend who you can lean on and talk to go forward when you have questions, or when you're at a point where maybe you just need a little nudge and maybe a little boost. You're all part of something bigger now that you've gone through Leadership Maine. And just make sure that you use those gifts to help Maine grow. So I'm tremendously optimistic when I look out at this room of leaders. And it doesn't feel that long ago when I was sitting right there. You're part of the Leadership Maine community and that network. And you have been given a view into all these different sectors of the state, all these areas that they actually do connect together. They actually all work together, and you have that insight now. So I want to congratulate you on your graduation, and I hope that something has stuck with you from this conversation, and really enjoy what Leadership Maine has provided you.